When David lost his job at the construction company, he thought the worst part would be the struggle to pay bills. He never imagined his wife, Anna, would take that moment of weakness to walk away. She didn't just leave, she went straight into the arms of his best friend, Mark. The betrayal hit him harder than the unemployment notice. Overnight, he lost not only his income but also the two people he trusted most. At first, David sank into despair. He spent weeks in his small apartment staring at the ceiling, replaying every memory. Mark had been like a brother, and Anna had been his partner for 10 years. Now they were laughing together, showing up in public without shame, while he sat alone. Friends told him to move on, but their words didn't ease the burning ache in his chest. One night, as he looked at his reflection in the cracked bathroom mirror, David realized something. He could either stay broken or rise stronger. He chose the latter. He began waking up early, going for long runs, and pushing himself to rebuild his health and confidence. His body grew stronger, his mind clearer, and slowly, his heart stopped aching every time he thought of them. With renewed determination, David took night classes in business and finance. While others slept, he studied until dawn, determined to rebuild his life. It wasn't easy, but every struggle fueled him. He wanted to prove to himself, not to Anna or Mark, that he was worth far more than they ever believed. Months passed, and David landed an entry-level job at a logistics company. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. He worked harder than anyone, learning everything he could, and soon, his boss began to notice. Promotions followed, and with each step forward, David felt the weight of betrayal turning into fire that propelled him higher. Meanwhile, Anna and Mark's relationship wasn't as perfect as they had imagined. Whispers reached David's ears that money troubles and trust issues were tearing them apart. But he didn't waste time thinking about them anymore. His focus was on his own journey, on becoming someone who didn't need validation from those who had abandoned him. Within 3 years, David had built a strong reputation in his field. He took the bold step of opening his own company, and to everyone's surprise, it flourished. His vision, discipline, and relentless work ethic turned his small startup into one of the fastest-growing businesses in the region. The same man who was once jobless now employed dozens of people and commanded respect everywhere he went. It was at a business conference that Anna saw him again. She had aged beyond her years, her eyes carrying the weight of regret. She tried to smile, but the moment David stepped on stage as a keynote speaker, her expression froze. She never expected to see the man she had left broken standing tall, commanding the room's attention. After the event, Anna approached him hesitantly. "David, you look good," she said softly, almost as if testing the waters. He simply nodded, polite but distant. The power dynamic had shifted completely. He no longer carried the pain of her betrayal, while she now carried the burden of regret. She began to explain how things with Mark hadn't worked out, how life had become difficult. David listened without interrupting, his face calm. When she finally asked if he had ever thought of them, their past, the betrayal, he gave her the answer she least expected. "I used to," he said, his voice steady. "But then I realized holding on to that pain was like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. I let it go, Anna. I built my life again, and I don't live in the past anymore." Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, and she whispered, "I made a mistake." But David didn't reply. He offered her a polite smile and walked away, his heart lighter than it had been in years. The shock on her face wasn't just from his success, it was from the realization that he no longer needed her at all. From that day, word spread quickly about how David had risen from the ashes of betrayal to become a figure of strength and success. People admired him, not just for what he built, but for the dignity with which he carried himself. Anna, on the other hand, faded into the background, living with the choices she had made. David's life became a quiet but powerful statement. Betrayal doesn't have to destroy you, it can become the fire that builds you stronger than ever. And the greatest revenge wasn't anger or payback. It was living a life so full and successful that those who betrayed you could do nothing but watch from the sidelines. In the end, David realized that Anna and Mark's betrayal had been the painful push he needed. Losing them wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning of the life he was truly meant to live.